So now in this session, we will learn about the transition mode. So what is this transition mode? I will try to explain you. So I will give you a simple example. Let's say that I'm having a component animate button or something like this. So I will be having animate button. So which is common example. Animate button. I'm taking one animate button. I'll tell you one scenario. What are the things what we have learned up to now? I will try to show you. I'm having a div. Here I will be having two buttons. So one is on and another one is off, which is given in the documentation itself, this example. So I will show you the script. So we'll be having this export default, and like this we'll be having. Let's go to the app.view. So here we are having these all things, right? I will close this dialog model, and here also I will close this one. So here at the bottom I will add this animate button. So I am adding this animate button. So here I'll be having import animate button from components / animate button. So I'm taking this component. In the components I'm adding this one animate button. Fine. So I'm showing this animate button. Alright, so let's see the example. Let's see the output, how it will look like. If I try to see the output, we are able to see on off button. Let's try to design some. So here I can have class is equal to my-3. Let's try to apply some border. Let's see how it will apply. So we got some border, and we'll apply some py-2 and text-center. Let's see how it will look like. Yeah, somewhat like this. So this is the on and off button. Apply this py-4 also. We'll see how it will look like. Yeah, so this is our on off button. Now I will apply some classes to this one. Class is equal to btn-primary, and here also I can have class is equal to btn-primary. So this is our class. Now the situation is, so now we are having this. When I click on this on button, so it should be off, and I click on the off button, it should be on. So that means only one button should be visible. What I can do here, so here I can have a data property. I will return this one. So show on button. So by default it will be false, so that it will show only the off button. So here if not off, show on button. Or otherwise show on button is there means then I need to show this one, or otherwise so reverse for this one, if not off, show on button is there, then I need to show this off. That's it. So here I will click. So when the user clicks on this one, I will do on show button like this. Some way method I will create. So the same method I will try to create here also, on show button, and here in the methods we will create the method on show button. So here we will be having this dot show on button is equal to not of this dot show on button. So this is the example. So now only one button will be visible here. So if I click on the off, it is coming on and off, it is doing on. So just I have written some simple logic. So we can do whatever the logic you have. So the preferable logic you can do it, but I did it like this. Now what I want to do is, whenever the button is moving, so I need to have a animation effect. So it should to go off button should go up and on button should go down, something like this. So slowly the transition has to appear instead of appearing immediately on and off like this. So we need to have some animation appearance. So in Vue.js, how we can do it is normally we can apply transitions. So here I can apply a transition. So we can apply a transition. So here I am applying this transition for this one. So when I apply a transition for this one, if you try to see here, we will get an error. Why? Because transition expects only one child element or a component. So in the transition, we need to have only one child element, but here we are having two elements. So, but actually, logically, only one button will be visible. Either off will be visible or on will be visible. So that means we are having only one child element, but the transition cannot able to understand this logic. So now how it can understand is, for example, here if you write v-else, then Vue.js will be able to understand it very easily that either only one button will be existable. So now the transition will work. So if you try to see here, now the transition tries to work. So it is trying to do something, but which is not nice. So we need to do the animations thing. So what can I do here? So we will give some name, button or something like this. And let's go to the style. So here it will be having scope put thing. So we can write the scope put thing. So this is the style we will be having. And now what I can do here. So we need to write the translate thing and all those things we need to write it here. So let's try to write those things, translation thing. So what is the thing you will be writing here? Where is this one? Style scope, right? Yeah. So here we will be writing button we have created, right? The name is, so we'll be having two things, button hyphen enter hyphen from, and we'll be having another one, button hyphen enter hyphen to. These are common things which we have discussed yesterday only. Button hyphen enter hyphen active. So for entering, I am writing these conditions. So for enter hyphen from, I can do something like opacity 0 to opacity 1. I can do it, and this one should be done. And also you can do the transform thing also. So transform translate. So translate x or y, whichever thing. So minus 30 pixel or something like this you can give. And here you can have 0 pixel. So here I will be adding this one to 0 pixel, which we have did it earlier only. And here we'll be having a transition effect, transition all 1 second or anything. So whichever you want you can do it. And here will try to do it for the button leave hyphen 2. So reverse we need to have it. So 2, and this one is from and the other last one is the active. So we can have an active. So that's it. So this is the CSS effect which I am trying to write it. So let's try to see whether the CSS will appear or not. If I try to refresh this page, and if I do here, so I am able to get the transition, but the two transitions are trying to appear at the same time. Why? Because we are having two buttons here, off and on button. So now when I click on the off button, so it is leaving, and another transition at the same time, that enter transition is trying to work. So that is the reason we are able to see this transition. So now we need to have in such a scenario that while two are there, transitions is going on. So first transition, we need to tell that first transition has to appear. After completion of this first transition, the second button transition has to appear. So for this one, we have an option that is nothing but a mode. So mode. So which transition has to appear first? First it has to appear out. Out means whichever button is leaving, that transition has to appear first. Then afterwards in. So then afterwards this in transition has to appear. So like this you can write, or otherwise you can write in out also. Now if you see example, if I try to refresh this page, you click here, see now I am able to see the transition smoothly. If I try to do the same thing in out, so that means in transition has to appear, then afterwards the out transition. So depending on the requirement, so you can do this mode. So you can change this mode, in hyphen out, something like that. Now here in this scenario, the in hyphen out means, so first the button on has to come, then afterwards off has to go. So if you try to see here, see on came, afterwards off is going away. So this is not a correct transition for us. First in means entering, off, on is entering, then afterwards off is doing the transition. This is not the correct scenario for us. First off has to go, first whenever we click on this on button has to go away, then afterwards off button has to come. So that means the two transition has to appear. So that means our correct scenario is, so like this, out hyphen in. So like this we can do it. So now if I try to click on this one, so off has been done and on is doing. So like this, the transition will appear. So this is how we can do the transition. So whenever you want to do, so like this, so on and off, both the things will be doing. So this is how we will be doing using the mode thing when you are having two buttons or the transitions which you want to appear. So you can use the transition mode option to transfer between the things. So this is how we will be doing. So then you will not have this toggling effect or jiggling effect like this. So when we are toggling these all things, so moving up and down, these all things will not happen when you use this mode option. So this is all about the transition mode thing. So when you want to use the mode thing means whenever you want a transition, whichever you want to appear first, afterwards the transition you want to appear next means you can use this mode option.